Winter is coming. That means frozen pipes. And frozen pipes are a landscaper's worst nightmare. So we're going to subject 4 different types of pipe common in landscapes and see which ones handle freezing the best. Class 200, Schedule 40, poly, or copper. These completely blew apart. So let's get started. Science says that water expands 9% when it freezes. But does that mean you can leave 80% of the water in your sprinkler pipes and it won't freeze? What I'll do is take different types of sprinkler pipe that are common in irrigation systems and fill them with different amounts of water. Then we'll put them outside during a snowstorm when the temperature drops and see what happens. I love to see things break. That's always fun. Okay, so now we're in the shop. We've got 4 different types of pipe that we're going to be using. And what we're going to do is cut up the different types of pipe into sections so that we can use a scientific method to figure out how much water will freeze and break a pipe. So now we've got all of our pipes cut. We've got one end sealed so it can hold the water. So we've got our 4 sections of the Schedule 40 right here, which is a little bit thicker PVC, SDR 21 or the Class 200 here, and I'm also using 1 inch for that. The black 1 inch poly, this is 1 inch, and I went with 80 PSI on this one, 3/4 inch Type M copper. Now the copper, the Type M I'm using, is a 3/4 inch. The reason I chose these is because they're the most commonly used in the sprinkler system. So we've got 1 end sealed on all of these so we can fill it up with water. Once it's got water in it, then I'll seal up the other end. We're going to fill one up to 100% full of water, the next one 75% full of water, 50% full of water, and 25% full of water. And we'll see which ones freeze and do the most damage. And how we're going to measure that is we have these sections of pipe here. So this is the SDR 21, Class 200, Schedule 40, copper, poly. We'll use these to fill those up. Okay, so we've got all the pipes filled up. And just to make sure that we're at 100% on the copper, because when you sweat it together, it would evaporate the water. Just to make sure we're at 100%, I made sure to put this cap in there. So we're 100% on this one, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to put them out on a wooden shelf so that they can be fully exposed to the temperatures, and we can get a really good reading on whether or not they'll freeze and break. So here's the copper pipes. We got 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% full. Then the same thing with the PVC. This is the Class 200 SDR 21, the 80-pound test, a 1 inch poly, and then the Schedule 40 PVC 1 inch. So I've got all the pipes laid out on the shelf here, and cold weather coming in. I am super stoked about watching this stuff break, and I'm excited to see the results. Well, it is 8 degrees outside. No, it's -8 degrees outside. And I'm checking on the pipes to see how they're doing in this cold temperature. Oh yeah, we got one missing there. Probably froze right away, popped off. Let's check these guys here. So the copper pipe only froze, the one that was 100%, froze right here, you can see. I don't think any of these others froze. All right, so now the SDR 21, the class 200. This is the 25%. That's slush. This one was 100% frozen, or 100% water, and it definitely has a bulge right there. Has a bulge right there. Has a bulge around here. But it didn't crack. All right, so the poly, there's like a little split. Not a full split, but it looks like it had expanded right there. You can zoom in on that. You see it right there. It looks like it expanded just a little bit, but it didn't break all the way through. Interesting. Yeah, and then the Schedule 40, (75% is good. The 100%, I don't know where it is. Here we are. I think this one broke. That's part of it. Look at that. All the way through. Goodness. Blow out your sprinkler systems. We'll have to find the rest of the parts of the Schedule 40 when the snow melts. So what were the results? Well, of the 16 pieces of pipe, only 4 of them were filled up 100%. Each one of those was affected by ice. But why did some of the pipes freeze and burst and others only froze and expanded? Well, it has to do with the strength and the makeup of each of those materials. So the copper burst right away. It got colder faster than the PVC, and the end burst open. The Schedule 40 completely blew apart. If you saw on the Class 200, it bulged and expanded in a few areas. It didn't burst, and that could be due to a couple of things. One, it may not have been 100% full of water when it froze, but also it could allow for that contraction. It's a thinner wall, so it allows for a little bit of expansion. Now, it has a weak point in it once it expands. The Schedule 40 is a thicker pipe, so as that water expands, it puts a little bit more pressure on it, and when it gets to its bursting point, it lets go and it shatters. The Class 200 will do that, but in this case, it didn't have as much pressure built up, and it only expanded, it only bulged. Now the black poly, when it froze, it expanded, but it didn't burst. And that's because it's a different makeup than the PVC. It allows for a little bit of that. Now, does that mean it's okay if it freezes? No, because where it has expanded is now a weak point. So just because you forget to blow it out, it may have frozen, but you may not have a leak right away. But you will. Down the road could cause problems. Should you blow out 100% of the water in your sprinkler lines? Yes. Is it possible? No. There's no way to get 100% of all the water out of your sprinkler lines every single time. So do the best that you can. Try and get out as much water as you can to give you the best probability of not freezing and damaging your pipes.